So James Comey is doing this media tour for his book, which has already sold record copies, around 600,000 in its first week. And the tour has provided some interesting insights, but it's largely been a bit insufferable as it's become clear that Comey has really enjoyed the spotlight. Now, I may be one of the few people in America who didn't have too much of a problem with James Comey outside of my numerous problems with what the FBI has done. I mean, particularly in reference to the 2016 election and Trump and Hillary. I think that his reasoning into reopening the Hillary Clinton email investigation was pretty sound, and I hate how Democratic partisans have decided that he solely is the reason that she lost the election. Now, she is the reason that she lost the election, as I have to say a million times. And I'm obviously not a Republican partisan who thinks that Comey should have sworn blind loyalty to Donald Trump and acted like he was the lawyer for a mob boss when he was the FBI director. So I think he handled that situation well too. So I've got no issues with Comey in the context of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump and this whole saga. What I do have a problem with is his hypocrisy on leakers. James Comey was one of the people in the political establishment, the numerous people, who sought the prosecution of Edward Snowden, who leaked information to the public about the NSA surveillance program, the illegal activity that they were doing. In 2014, Comey said he was confused by those who labeled Snowden a hero as a result of the leak. "I see the government operating the way the founders intended," he added. "So I have trouble applying the whistleblower label to someone who basically disagrees with the way our government is structured and operates." A year later, Comey nixed the idea of a plea deal with Snowden, calling him a fugitive and saying that he'd love to apprehend him so he can enjoy the benefits of the freest and fairest criminal justice system in the world. But it's interesting that when James Comey wants to leak information to the public, even if it's his own memos, it's treated as a heroic act. He's revealing things that the American public needed to hear, but didn't Snowden do the exact same thing? Here's Anderson Cooper, of all people, on CNN, grilling him last night on at least some of that hypocrisy.
You did leak memos. I mean, is it okay for somebody at the FBI to leak something, an internal document, even if it's not classified? Isn't that leaking?
Well, there's a whole lot wrong with your question, Anderson. First, I didn't leak memos. I asked a friend to communicate the substance of one unclassified memo.
Whether you...
Can I finish for a second?
Sure, okay.
One unclassified memo to the media, and I was really important. I was a private citizen. I was not an FBI employee at that time.
But it was an internal document. It was a document you had written while you were FBI director. That is a leak. I mean, if you tell somebody, don't give them the document, but tell them what's in the document, that's still a leak, no?
Well, not to get tangled up in it, I think of a leak as an unauthorized disclosure of classified information.
Really? That's it? That's a leak?
That's how I thought about it as FBI director. We investigated leaks, so unauthorized disclosures.
In your memo, when you said that when the president said he was eager to find leakers and would like to nail one to the door as a message,
I said that.
Shouldn't you be nailed to the door then? I mean, aren't you a leaker? I mean, you gave up a document that was released to the New York Times, information from that document released to the New York Times. I know you say it's not classified, but plenty of people leak non-classified information to reporters, and the White House and the FBI gets upset about it.
The FBI gets upset when people make unauthorized disclosures of protected information. There was nothing protected about this. It wasn't classified. It wasn't privileged.
So when you were FBI director,
hold on, it's also in my book.
So when you were FBI director, if somebody on your team had given a friend documents that they were writing that you were involved with and said, oh, you could just tell the New York Times what's in this document, you wouldn't have had a problem with that?
Well, depending on what was in the document.
But even if it's not classified?
Was it protected information? Was it investigative information? Was it classified information? Was it grand jury information?
So I guess I'm surprised that you only think leaks, officially a leak is something that's classified.
So Anderson Cooper did a very good job there, but let's point out that Anderson is framing this from a right-wing perspective, even in his questioning. He's saying, didn't you, James Comey, do something wrong? Aren't you a dirty leaker from the FBI? Well, no, the public clearly needed to know the information that he revealed about how tyrannically the president operated, but in the case of Snowden, the public obviously also clearly needed to know how tyrannically the government had been operating in surveilling them. In fact, Snowden is consistent on this. He has defended Comey's decision to leak this information. Even if details leaked by the FBI director fell under confidentiality obligations, the public's need to know here is the superior obligation, Snowden wrote on Twitter. The former NSA contractor stood up for Comey in the wake of his abrupt firing last month, saying, "If I can oppose his firing, so can you. This FBI director has sought for years to jail me on account of my political activities. If I can oppose his firing, so can you," he tweeted. But did Comey offer the same support to Edward Snowden? No, of course not. And what Comey is doing there is saying that only documents that are not classified are able to be leaked. So classification, in your view, outweighs the public's right to know? I guess that's what he's claiming, but it seems to be a pretty arbitrary line. Really, this is the line. Comey was the head of the FBI. He had power. Edward Snowden was a contractor who exposed the powerful institutions, and Comey was a powerful man who exposed another extremely powerful man, but one that the powers that be really despised and didn't want to win in the first place. So Comey's leak reinforced what the powerful wanted, and Snowden's leak challenged what the powerful wanted. So one is celebrated and goes on a national book tour and makes a ton of money, and the other one is essentially in exile and smeared as a traitor by both sides of the aisle. Framing is a powerful thing.